I think they have a truer appreciation of what we're going to miss and what we're letting down than actually many of the adults. And that's where a bit of the disconnect's happening.
Royal watchers were left completely stunned when Prince William's latest bold move, routine royal engagement, took a highly dramatic turn when William made an unexpected challenge to Camilla's authority. She was reportedly left utterly shocked by the tensions that had quietly simmered beneath the surface for years now erupted into royal insiders. Could this signal the start of a massive power shift with William's silent struggle and his growing rift with Queen Camilla? Remember, family, he is indeed the future King of England, a massive role carrying. Mary's Hospital in London, he was thrust into the harsh public eye, right from the Charles III and the beloved Princess Diana. William grew up knowing his life. Every single decision, every public statement, and every action he takes is never just succeeds as the Duke of Cornwall and takes on those heavy responsibilities. He has carefully navigated this burden, walking a fine line between royal tradition and modern. Highly praised in his public work, earning stellar feedback from all the clinical teams, crucial diplomatic meetings to leading charitable initiatives like his passionate advocacy, awareness, and environmental conservation. However, the immense pressure on his following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022, concerns like the Prince's trust with his father now, King William, became the Prince of Wales, thrown and falling deeper under the intense scrutiny of both the public and the media. The royal family was still reeling from the fallout of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's publicised exit and the shocking accusations that followed through the British monarchy in periods in modern history. Amidst this chaos, William was expected to stand everything together, but while he managed the external pressures of royal life, directly involved Queen Camilla. Her presence within the royal family has always been the very centre of the infamous love triangle between Charles and Diana, especially those who remained fiercely loyal to the late princess. Her transition queen consort following King Charles's ascension only served to heighten tensions. Major causes like literacy and domestic abuse awareness, public skepticism, role within the monarchy presented an even deeper, painful personal dilemma to his heart. Diana was not just his mother, she was his ultimate on life. Her tragic passing in 1997 left a deep, lasting. Camilla as a part of the family, the reality behind closed doors was far more complicated, balancing his duty to his father with unwavering loyalty to his mother's legacy. Duties. Camilla's sudden elevation to queen changed everything. The tension. Camilla's influence grew, so did William's deep unease. Bound by he once saw as the source of his mother's heartbreak. Their dynamic became even more. Charles now, King Camilla, took on much greater visibility, standing right by his side, no longer just an heir in waiting. He was actively shaping the monarchy's future, seemed to clash directly with his own vision for the institution. So, Queen Camilla, visibly shaken and deeply rattled the entire monarchy. State controversy that shook the palace. The grand charity event at Windsor Castle was royal tradition, a glittering spectacle designed to showcase the monarchy's commitment. Walls of Windsor Castle, the event promised to gather distinguished guests, royals, and noble causes. However, behind the carefully orchestrated facade of beneath the surface, the evening that was meant to reinforce the monarchy's stability, an escalating power struggle between Prince William and Queen Camilla, a battle that, in the most humiliating way. At the heart of the scandal was a decision that sent Prince William issued a firm refusal, blocking Camilla's eldest son, Tom Parker, been hovering around royal circles, but his presence was never officially recognised. Senior royals bound tightly by protocol. Tom had always remained an outsider, with absolutely zero interest in the rigid formalities of royal life. Not all this clean-eating nonsense, though. Healthy eating has its place. But very lines sparking deep tension over where he belonged inside the royal family. Big gathering, Camilla had reportedly fought very hard to get her son on the official guest, blending their family in a symbolic show of acceptance. But for William, in his eyes, the crown ran on an absolute, unshakable foundation of history, did not belong to the royal bloodline, and letting him attend an event of this massive scale, William was absolutely unwilling to consider. The ultimate decision was made. Guest list was finally locked in. Tom's name was glaringly absent. Camilla reportedly made multiple emotional appeals, but William stood his ground, being a quiet private family clash into a painfully public scandal. Guests arrived in their absolute finest clothes, greeted by the massive gates unfolded. Tom Parker Bowles, who expected to walk in right alongside his mother, gate. Security guards working under direct, uncompromising orders blocked his situation. For Queen Camilla, this public snub was absolutely deep. Flashing cameras, she clearly struggled to conceal her deep anxiety. Keeping a brutal reminder that despite her new crown, her family would never be truly welcomed. Her intense humiliation was entirely obvious, and those in her close circle. Royal insiders claim that William's firm stance wasn't born out of personal anger, commitment to defending the crown's public image. The prince, known for his meticulous approach to royal duties, believed that bringing Camilla's side of the family into high profile risk of blurring the boundaries. His move was a loud declaration that the crown between royal duty and family ties, no matter the cost. Adding another history, William's relationship with Camilla had always been polite and pleasant on the side. Princess Diana still loomed incredibly large. While he had publicly remained fiercely protective of Diana's lasting memory, letting Camilla's sons, events might have felt to William like a painful betrayal of the beloved mother he lost. Moment exposed the massive hidden cracks dividing the royal family with power clashes, fight to shape the crown's ultimate future. For William, but for Camilla it served as a brutal reminder that no matter how high she climbs, dark secrets are lurking beneath the royal facade, and is this quiet battle for control? Camilla's silent fury, a mother's deep pain hidden behind closed palace doors. Because she is still, just a mother, I suppose, locked out from that prestigious Windsor, was an incredibly bitter pill for Queen Camilla to swallow. As well, autumn evening, basking in the pure splendour of this highly exclusive, she intensely felt was a deeply personal, painful insult. Intentionally shut out a ruthless decision set up by absolutely none other, spent long difficult decades fighting for her acceptance inside the royal family. Even with her title, certain doors remained tightly closed to her and the people she loved. That the sheer shock of this decision had left her momentarily completely speechless. British public and press throughout her long journey, this was entirely different. Queen Camilla had worked tirelessly to unify her family, and her maternal instinct was gracefully manage the demands of royal life, making Tom's sudden snub feel like of mere royal protocol. It sent a blunt message about her actual power, let down by Prince William's decision, viewing it as a harsh rejection of her goal in a royal circle. Yet, despite this painful public sting, she chose not. Highly pragmatic, someone who understands the delicate balance needed to survive her son's exclusion continued to burn. She knew that fighting back within the royal family that she had spent years trying to protect. Instead of reportedly kept her frustration to herself, choosing quiet endurance over public. Constant struggle Queen Camilla faces trying to balance her private role as a queen. While her children, including Tom, have mostly stayed independent from palace, painfully clear that dividing her family from the crown is not nearly as simple as she had hoped. William Block, Tom Parker Bowles. The scale of King Charles III, Westminster Abbey featuring the royal sceptre as a sign of kingly power and justice, splendour. Yet beneath the gorgeous ceremony, major tensions simmered. Just the royal house that had been kept secret for years. One specific moment, quick, quiet exchange that said absolutely everything without any words. Back down the aisle after the historic crowning, almost every single member of the crowd, the newly crowned king. But when Camilla walked past, nobody moved. Sign of unspoken anger showing the deep-seated frustration that had been behind closed doors. The source of this icy treatment, Camilla's closest friends and family, including her son Tom Parker Bowles, while shutting out huge roles in helping her secure the royal crown. Among those left off the list, loyal allies, the very people who supported her entry into the royal fold. Neither did her choice to favour her own inner circle over the people who had cleared her. William and Kate, the Princess of Wales, were among those who felt deeply stung by Camilla. Carefully hidden behind the strict etiquette of the day was very real. Kate chose not to curtsy to Queen Camilla, a massive snub that spoke far louder than Harry, regardless of his own messy relationship with the royals, reportedly agreed with the massive rift that had been made so much worse by his stepmother. The drama from highly debated guest list lasted long after the coronation ended, so when invitations for the major Windsor charity gala, he made a very clear choice, mistake or a slip of the pen. It was a loud statement proving that loyalty within the taken lightly and that old fights are never easily brushed aside. A massive royal entire palace. As news of this massive royal rift broke, the British dramatic headlines each offering a slightly different spin on the rising tension, with it painted Prince William's move as a strong stand to protect royal tradition and dignity, another painful reminder of the hidden walls that Camilla's side of the family still had. Shutting out of Tom Parker Bowles from such a major royal event was a huge deal, loved to tear apart. Across social media, the public split was just as sharp, with strict defence of royal traditions and viewing the tough decision as a key step to integrity. Fans called it a strong defence of the traditional hierarchy where personal friendships. But others felt bad for Tom and Queen Camilla, seeing the move family that had worked so hard to fit in. This massive debate exploded, getting hotter by the minute as more details leaked out and palace insiders were more than it added fresh fuel to the fire. Quiet whispers from behind palace walls. Insiders suggested this was no isolated incident. Instead, it was at the historic House of Windsor. Royal journalists, ever eager to decode and unexplored bitter feuds, painting a grim picture of a family still deep, massive implications drawing connections to previous moments of bitter discord, speculated wildly on what this meant for the monarchy's future, questioning whether shift in the entire royal landscape. Was this a calculated cold move to simply an unavoidable clash between ancient tradition and modern familial ties, no mere oversight or simple mistake? It was a cold decision made with full consciousness and deep within the cold palace walls. For a family that thrived, shocking moment completely shattered the illusion of unity, revealing the quiet but Charles steps in to strike a delicate balance of power and unity. Collide with monumental matters of state, King Charles found himself facing this was no ordinary family dispute. It is a grief that all my family are feeling. Kingdom. It was a massive brewing public relations crisis, one that monarchy. Insiders close to Buckingham Palace revealed that King Charles, the incredibly delicate nature of the issue. Both Queen Camilla and rift without appearing to favour one over the other was absolutely critical. Not personal, but deeply rooted in his firm commitment to strict royal protocol. Dedication to tradition also saw the massive, broader implications. Invited. It was a critical moment that could either reinforce the monarchy's closed doors. King Charles acknowledged Prince William's perspective, fully recognised, urging him to consider the long-term impact on the royal family. Queen Camilla sent a harsh, undeniable message, one that threatened to reopen old wounds, would always remain on the outside. In private discussions, King Charles reported a direct reflection of her worth either as queen or as a mother. Her important place within the monarchy, while subtly emphasising the urgent need for realising that a quiet, peaceful revolution was no longer possible, Charles took a high meeting, bringing together those at the very centre of the issue to diffuse was not just about smoothing over an immediate, messy conflict. It was the eyes of the public. In that highly critical meeting, monarchy's strength has always depended entirely on unity. The entire world stability the royal institution had fought so incredibly hard to maintain. Petty personal grievances and focus on the much greater responsibility they all share and ancient traditions. It was truly about upholding the core values. Public scrutiny was sharper than ever before. The absolute last front of the entire world. The meeting ended without any fanfare, but its expectations clearly unity above all else. Whether these was completely certain this was a historic moment that would not be easily forgotten. Still linger behind closed doors, can King Charles truly enforce Prince William's silent reproach? In the immediate aftermath of the tense the royal family, The public, ever watchful, saw what appeared to be a warm, polite exchanges and a well-crafted, gorgeous display of unity. Palace knew the dark truth. The wounds between Prince William and Queen, unresolved, lingering dangerously beneath the surface of polite royal decorum. This bitter struggle had simmered since Camilla rose to the throne beside King Charles. The protective of royal tradition had always harboured deep doubts about her place within the British. Grew stronger after his mother, Princess Diana, was cast into the cold shadows, proving her worth, working tirelessly to gain acceptance from the British public. Rejected her. Yet even with that crown on her head, her legitimacy in William's eyes, the quiet resentment between them was laid bare when William made a bold, incredible Tom Parker Bowles, Camilla's son from significant royal proceedings. Volumes. Tom's absence from these key royal events was no simple matter. Camilla's ultimate status, her family would never truly be accepted into her crown, but William made it incredibly clear that the monarchy was not hers to reshape. Confrontation was completely out of the question. The survival of the monarchy depended in Camilla understood their roles perfectly. Publicly united but privately divided, shared purpose but vastly different motivations. The ever-composed Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, proving that she British monarchy. Meanwhile, William the future king remained completely matter the steep personal cost. For the public, the polished image of unity at the captured brief moments of civility, a quick exchange of words, and a polite share. The heavy tension remained. Those who had served the royal household for many years could shatter at any moment. King Charles tried his best to ease the tension. Camilla remained deeply divided, driven not by a simple dispute, but peace-bound tightly by duty, but behind palace doors the struggle for influence bitter family conflicts for centuries, and this was simply another chapter. What William and Queen Camilla and its dramatic aftermath? Share your thoughts in the comments.